gotta get your brain right if you're trying to make $1 million. If you ain't gonna do it for yourself, then do it for your mama. Only stay surrounded by them people if you know they solid. Elevate your hustle up today to double up your profit. Trying to learn some game, Xavier gon' talk about it. No Deanna, speak that shit that everybody vouching. Ain't no more excuses valid. Get up off the couch and get up in your bag. To your bank account, need an accountant.
Yo, Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome back to the greatest show on earth, the Millionaire Mindsets Podcast. I am your host, Xavier, and I'm super excited. I'm super happy, man. It's first day of the year, New Year 2023. I'm pumped up. We back in the studio. I know y'all miss us, man. We back with some, we coming back with some straight fire, man. It's going to be a crazy year. We about to take off this year, so make sure y'all tap in and stay tuned. But before we get started, I wanted to advise all the listeners, all the watchers, so please subscribe, leave that 5-star rating and review, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all those things. Like I said, 2023, we about to take this to a whole nother level. So I definitely appreciate all the listeners that's been with us on this journey. But if you guys could do all those things, I absolutely would greatly appreciate it. And get right to the show, man. Today I got a very, very, very special guest, the most special guest we ever had on the show, and I want to give her a great introduction. And you guys may know who she is. So her name is Deanna. Deanna, what's good, man? Welcome to the Millionaire Mindsets Podcast.
What's up, Zay? Thank you so much for having me back on the show. It's so great to be here, back in the studio under the lights. It feels so lovely to be here.
Man, it's good to see you in the studio. One of the number one questions I get in the DMs, whether it's my personal page or the podcast page or in comments, people are always saying, where Deanna at? What happened to Deanna? When's she coming back? What's going on? And I'm like, it seems like every 2 months, I'm like, y'all, she gonna come back, man. She gonna just give her some time, man. But you back in the studio today. People miss you, man. They really love you and rock with you. So
hey, I really appreciate it, and I feel the love. I get a ton of people telling me all the time, D, we miss you, we miss your questions. So trust me, it feels great to be back in the studio, as we start this new year, just to give y'all some game and to be back and share my thoughts.
Share your thoughts and share your, you've been out on, what you call it?
Maternity leave.
You've been out on maternity.
If y'all did not know,
right.
Y'all favorite co-host took me out the game.
You crazy. She been on maternity leaves, so she been out, but she wants to start the year off. Just coming on the show and speaking with the listeners, tapping in with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, a lot of times we get a lot of comments and people asking like, "Where is D at?" So she wants to tap in. We're not gonna make this episode long. This is a very specific episode. We want to just share some things about 10 ways you can set yourself up for a great 2023. This is a big year for all of us. I'm pretty sure all of us is expecting a lot of growth, whether it's personal, our private lives and professional lives. So I just want to talk about these several ways and several things that I'll be doing this year to ensure that I'm gonna have a great year. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And before you get into that, I did just want to point out, can you believe the first episode dropped in 2018?
Oh, yeah.
And now here we are, 2023. Ain't that crazy?
2023. Yeah, damn, that's crazy. I didn't think about that. That first episode was 2018, man. That's crazy. It was around this time, too. It was like a week around this time.
This exact time. We was recording our living room on the couch. Our
living room in Cali in the couch. Now we in the studio in Texas, in the great state of Texas, in the studio, you know what I'm saying? Going crazy, growing, you know what I'm saying? Co-host on maternity leave.
Okay.
All right, let me chill. But no, let me on the serious note though. I want to get straight to it. Like I said, I got 10 things that I feel like I want the listeners to if y'all could take mental notes, y'all could take notes on y'all phones or whatever, or you can write it down. Like I want y'all to definitely pay attention because I think this is definitely a crucial year for everybody because it's a lot of things happening in society and the country, and I feel like it's a real crucial time to be serious and wrap it up and be more focused. So if you listen to this episode and you rock with us, please pay attention to what we're finna say. So like I said, there's 10 ways to ensure you have a great 2023. And the first thing I got is, and it's the most cliche, the most simple thing, is set yourself some goals. Like it's like I said, it's the first day of the year. If you ain't set your goals for the year already, I'm sorry to tell you, it ain't too late, but you just already a little behind. But luckily, it's only the first day of the year. You know what I'm saying? So you can still got time to write those goals down, because a goal that ain't written down, the likelihood of you actually accomplishing it is slim. You know what I'm saying? The studies show that once you write a goal down, you have like a 44% increase of actually accomplishing the goal. So writing down goals, I'm pretty sure some of you already know this. It's helpful for a lot of reasons, but many things it's consistently on your mind. It's something that you're not like forgetting about. I know how I am. Like I could think of stuff every day, and stuff slip my mind every day. And sometimes it's important stuff that I need to do, but the fact that I didn't write it down, it's like, damn, I forget to do it. I might have missed the deadline or something like that. So I think that's one of the simplest ways off top to ensure that you have a great year is set yourself goals. What is money goals? What is relationship goals? Professional goals? I don't care what it is. You need to make slots and write all that stuff down and keep it somewhere that you could consistently see it. Whether it's in your wallet, whether it's in a journal. That's one of the things that to start the year off that I got me a journal about 2 weeks ago just specifically for the year 2023, where I'm writing everything down. So that's another key thing I would say all the listeners should do. Immediately get yourself a journal. You can get a $5 journal, $10 journal, nothing crazy. Get yourself a journal so you can write all these things down. Go ahead, D.
And I was just gonna add to that, just to let y'all know how I did. Personally, I'm not a big journal person because I know after maybe 2 months or so, I'm done with the journal. I ain't picking it up. But for me, I took the time to put my goals in the notes of my phone.
Right.
So I could access it from my phone while I'm on the go, my laptop, my computer, whatever it may be, because I work majority off of these devices. I can always pull up my goals, look at them, remind myself what I'm working towards, what I'm striving for, and that's how I keep, my goals on the forefront, so that I don't forget them and so that I don't lose sight of, the bigger picture. But for me personally, like the way I broke my goals down, just to give y'all an example, I broke mine down into these categories which were most important to me, and that's what I recommend, like doing a self-assessment and seeing like, what's the most important things that you want to accomplish next year, and then you break your goals down into those categories. But I chose financial, personal in terms of fitness and health, relationships. I'm going to say that's a big one because, we interact with people on a daily basis, and a lot of people may neglect this, but it's more than just like your love life and your significant other when I say relationships, but family, siblings, parents, friends. Like I write goals in terms of how I want my relationships with them to go for the year and the things I want to accomplish as far as our relationship. Spiritual, that's a big one. You always got to keep that on the forefront. However you do like your spiritual wellness, whether that's going to church or praying, meditating, at least just setting some type of goal or reminder to keep you on track with that, because, as we go through life, that's one thing you never want to waver on, is that spiritual well-being. Travel, that's something personal. I want to travel, so I set travel goals. And then, of course, business. So those are my top categories for breaking things down, for setting my goals. You don't have to choose those same categories, but at least that's like a good framework for you to get the job done.
Oh, that's game. I like that. You could just, that's game, man. You said it better than I could say it. But just break it down that way, because when you break things down, it's easier to assess them and see what's really going on instead of everything being bunched together. So I like that. And when you're talking about spiritual, you lay it right into my third way for a great 2023, and that's build your relationship with God or higher power, whatever you believe in. Make sure you build that relationship, because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to go on a tangent about, about God and religion and none of that, but that's just, the root of the foundation and everything. And my personal belief, my personal experience, the closer you do build that relationship with God, the more clarity you have, the more understanding you have with the world, the easier it is to navigate, because there's going to be struggles. And like how many people are, I don't want to say guessing, many people are estimating that 2023 will be a real recession. Many people are assuming that it will last until mid-2024. So with that being said, it's going to be a hard time for, God willing, it's not too hard for a lot of people, but it may be a hard time for a lot of people. So with that going on, you need to keep that base and that foundation, or whatever you believe in, because that's going to keep you going for real.
Mm-hmm. And to add on to that, I know the majority of our listeners are under the age of 25, 18 between 25, a lot of young people, and you're still trying to...
Under 30.
Under 30.
Yeah.
excuse me, but you're still trying to find your footing in the world and really like, get things in order for yourself. So to be going through such a pivotal time in your life where you're building your finances and laying that foundation, maybe starting a family or whatever the case may be, going through a recession or economic times of this sort can be devastating. It can be extremely difficult. I know for the older generations, we seen how it impacted them years ago, and that's just something like, especially when you're so young, it's so hard to understand and to find the right way to navigate through it. But just piggyback on what you're saying, when you have a foundation, when you have something to fall back on or to keep you grounded in a spiritual sense, that is really going to help you see through things, see the light through all the bad times, keep you grounded and just remember, to stay positive and stay in good spirits, because bad times don't last forever, y'all. Right. They're temporary. We go through them. That's a part of life. They build character. And it's just something, it's inevitable. We can't avoid it, but it's just all about how you navigate it, and being spiritually grounded is one of the best ways to get through it.
Thanks. And I believe it'll help you with consistency too. That's one of the biggest problems that many of us have here is consistency. Mm-hmm. We struggle with staying consistent with things. And I think when you got that spiritual foundation like that, it'll be easier for you to conquer that challenge. Mm-hmm. And going into my fourth way, like I said, is to have a great 2023, and this is educate yourself. And this is not just simply talking about going to school. I literally mean like self-education, because in my opinion, self-education is truly the only education for real, because you can go to school, get a 4.0 GPA, have all these degrees, but still not understand many things. You could just remember things, but you don't truly understand what you read and what's going on and stuff like that. So you always have to self-educate yourself, and that's with books, or if you online, if you like reading online material and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like I recently, because all 2020, I don't remember when I talked about this, but I know I said I was reading so much, I feel like I had an information overload, so I stopped reading for a while, and then on this while, I feel like mentally I was getting stagnant, so I recently started back reading again. And when I started, I was only doing, even though I love reading, I was only doing 10 pages a day. And I'm saying this because if you're someone that don't like reading, you be like, man, I ain't trying to be reading no damn books. 10 pages a day, you can start there, that's nothing. 10 pages a day is literally nothing. Mm-hmm. And the average book is between 200 to 400 pages. So let's just say on average, the book might have 300 pages, right? So that means if you read 10 pages a day, 30 days in a month, it'll take you a month to read a book. Through a whole year, that's 12 books. Mm-hmm. So if you read 12 books, do you know how much new information, new intelligence you'll have? Especially if there are books about actually learning things that you could actually apply to elevate your life. You're going to be so much smarter than you was when you started that year. So that's why reading is so crucial, and applying yourself to get that new information is so crucial. And it's not only reading, it's putting yourself in new environments around people that's smarter than you, that has more than you, that you aspire to be. They could put you on game, they could tell you about stuff. But at the end of the day, you just got to chase new information to keep elevating yourself. And books is one of the small ways that I feel like that anybody could do, because some people don't have access to certain people. But everybody could pick up a book. And like I said, if you're not into reading, just aim for 10 pages a day. 10 pages a day, that's 12 books in a year. That's way the average. I don't even know if the average person in the States read one book a year. So 12 books a year, that's a lot of information.
And it's in terms of this topic, two things I want to touch on. I'm sure you would probably add to that. The first thing I want to touch on, as far as the education piece, is kind of going back into the conversation of college and school. Like I said, I know we have a pretty young audience. And if you follow me on my Instagram pages or things like that, my personal life, you know that I graduated with my master's last year in 2022. And, I got my bachelor's, my master's, but going through all that schooling and getting started with my career in project management, I learned the lesson of how important it is to choose the right degree. And as we go into this new year, especially with this young audience, I really want y'all to take heed to that information, because I've been having conversations with my younger family members and seeing them struggle because they didn't choose a degree path that would get them a profitable position once they got into the workforce. And with everything that's happening right now in the economy, you need to do your research. You need to see which jobs are needed, what jobs are viable, what are the requirements to actually get these jobs, and focus yourself on educating yourself with that in mind. You cannot lose sight of, what's going on in the world, because if you're just out here willy-nilly, well, oh, I'm going to pursue this, and it's no demand for that. It's no need for it. You've wasted so much money and time, and it's just going to throw you off a track so many years just because you didn't take the time to do that research. So in terms of education, I really want you guys to take the time and to really, assess what's going on, figure out what you want to do to the best of your ability in this day and time, and then choose make educational goals that's going to actually help you achieve your career goals. And then I also want to talk on the topic of courses. I know 2022 was kind of like a wild year as far as seeing courses pop up left and right. And when you are trying to self-educate, I know it's so hard to figure out who you should trust and who you should buy from, because money is tight these days, and you don't want to be wasting your money on nobody's course if it's not going to be of value. So make sure you do your due diligence, read the reviews, speak to other people who've taken the course, see if it's actually worth your time and money before you invest in it, so that you're going to get the most out of it. And being honest here, a lot of these courses you could probably find that free game online.
Right, Google.
YouTube, Google. You just got to put the time and the effort in to do that research and get that information. But at the end of the day, self-educate. Always be a student of the game. Keep learning. Keep seeking out more knowledge. And trust me, you'll be just fine.
You'll be just fine. And I thank you for saying all that. And I just realized I think I went from 1 to 3. I said Seiko.
You did.
Yeah. You said you
I was
didn't
going to
even say
mention
nothing.
it after this.
Yeah.
I was like, what's 2?
Number two, man, I'm tripping right now. Number 2 is exercise. Exercise. And this is extremely important because in my belief, mental sharpness and physical sharpness goes hand in hand. I'm one person that believe I don't think you could 100%. I don't think you can 100%. What's the word I'm looking? I can't even think. I'm having a brain fart right now. I'm having a mental fart right now. I don't think you could work to your full capabilities if you're not at. You don't have to be at physical peakness, but you need to be in some kind of physical shape. You know what I'm saying? I think I strongly believe they go hand in hand. Like I recently have been working out 2 days a week, and I see the improvement in how I get mental. Because I get a lot of brain fog. You know what I'm saying? So, but me working out this much, it kind of clears a lot of that brain fog that I usually experience. So, I know me personally, man, this helps me out a ton, and I feel better about myself. When you work out, you just naturally feel a lot better about yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I think everybody should do. I don't mean get a gym membership. If you feel like, man, I don't live by no gyms, I can't afford a gym membership, start outside. You can walk, run outside. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about just going crazy. I just mean we got to be in some kind of physical shape and beyond just the work part, just for the health and the life part. You know what I'm saying? The statistics say you're going to live long if you stay healthy to some degree. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be able out here to stay healthy and work out and don't let yourself go and get lazy, because I believe how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you physically lazy and you physically not in shape, I feel like it's going to reflect in a lot of other areas in your life, in my opinion.
I agree wholeheartedly. And listening to that, I can say I feel like I was at my strongest mentally when I was at my strongest physically.
Exactly.
And when I can recall those times, it was one when I was in the military, when I was working out like crazy, and these recent months when I was with a trainer. And now that I can't push myself as physically because of the pregnancy, I feel the aftermath of that, not feeling as motivated or as mentally sharp or just as in tune and in touch with stuff as I would usually be. And that just, reminded me the importance of fitness and just staying, taking care of your body, staying in shape, and just being physically ready for whatever comes your way, and how important that is. So definitely take care of your physical health.
And this is a message to the fellas. Working out, if people don't know this, working out is a testosterone booster. And this is important. This is important for men specifically because a man without testosterone usually is a docile man. He's very docile. He's lazy. He doesn't have big aspirations and ambitions and goals. So when you work out and you getting challenges, when you lifting that weight, so when you running that mile, and you got to push yourself that extra mile to do something, it naturally builds that I don't want to say aggression, but it's that hunger. It naturally builds that hunger for more. So this, and like I said, this is very, very important for men because especially in the times that we in, I feel like you gotta have the hunger for more because times ain't easy. They might be a little bit more difficult continuously. So you want to be strong, especially if you're somebody that's a leader of a household. You have a lady, you have a family. I feel like you always need that hunger and that intelligent aggression. You know what I'm saying? Not ruthless aggression. We just doing dumb shit, but like strategic aggression. Aggression isn't a bad thing if you use it strategically. So I feel like I want to say that to men for a second. I feel like that's very important because that's why it's a very key to work out because it's like I said, it's one of the best natural testosterone boosters, and I think every guy needs that today for real. Because especially in the time where I go on and on about this, I feel like you already know in the time where it's things are changing a lot. So, but I feel like that's one thing that I think could help dudes.
And I would add on to there, it's really competitive out here these days.
Very.
In every aspect of life, whether it's the dating scene, the job scene, business scene, it's extremely competitive. And where is the first place that you can build that competitive nature and nurture
It's in the gym.
In the gym.
And it's with yourself.
And with yourself, doing physical activities, that's the very first place where you can hone in on that competitive spirit within yourself. So that's also another reason why it's so important to stay physically active, to keep that spirit and that hunger continuously active.
Yeah, it builds working out for sure. If you do it continuously and you're serious about it, it builds that mental strength. And the fifth one, so the first one was set goals, second one was exercise, third was build your relationship with God or higher power, fourth was educate yourself, and the fifth one is better eating habits. And this is very a key topic too, because staying fit, eating right, all this go hands in hand. Now, for the people that's listening, I'm not saying don't go out to eat, don't get that, because I still go out to eat good too but I don't overdo it. You know what I'm saying? I don't go crazy with just eating all junk, all bullshit, because I know that affects your mental too. All that processed food,
junk.
You know what I'm saying? You do. It's so many studies on this. Anybody could Google this. All the processed food and junk, it affects your work ethic. It affects your habits. It affects your mental, how you wired, and all this stuff. So it's important to eat clean and eat right because that's going to affect the way you move out here. You know what I'm saying? You got to fuel yourself with the right things. You know what I'm saying? You can't eat BS and junk all. You can't treat your body like it's a junkyard. You got to fool yourself with the right things so you can keep moving out here and doing what you need to do. You don't want nothing to slow you down. You know what I'm saying? I know times when I ate a lot of junk, I would get sick like once a quarter. Now I'm sick. I'm down for 1 to 2 weeks. I can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? 1 to 2 weeks. If I'm down for 1 to 2 weeks, once a quarter, that's damn near a month a year. You know what I'm saying? Like over a month a year, then I'm just laid out. I can't do nothing. That's too much. So you have to put those right things in your body that'll always keep you going. You know what I'm saying? Not to say you will never get sick again, but it'll be more. It won't be as prevalent as when you eating the bullshit.
And not to mention, not eating right and door dashing and going out. It hurts your pockets real bad. Like when you go, I know y'all be adding it up at the end of the month. If you're one of those people who track your expenses and you see how much you spent on it and it hurt your heart, because I've been there plenty of times where I'm just like, this is out of control. So definitely take heed to that. If that's one area of your life where of course all the benefits Xavier talks about, but you could cut back on spending wise and really just focus on nourishing your body with healthier choices, going to the grocery store, doing your own cooking, then I definitely challenge you to do that for 2023, even if it doesn't happen immediately, because reversing, we've talked about a lot of stuff, but it's not easy to just reverse a lot of these habits just because it's a new year. But it's just making the strides to do it is what's important. Right. So putting in that work every day. We're going to have our slip-ups. We're going to have our cheat days when it comes to food. But as long as you just keep working towards it, One day you're going to get there. One day it's going to be second nature. And, we'll be having a whole different conversation. So just, remember those things. Keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind. Just stay consistent. And excuse me. My sixth thing I have the sixth way I feel like you could utilize to have a successful year is waking up early.
True.
And I feel like this really could have been number one, man, because I feel like waking up early could solve. So I feel like this is something that I'm speaking on it because this is something that I'm personally dealing with and doing right now. I've been waking up at 5 a.m. Working out. And then by the time 9 a.m. hit, you might be able to finish at most tasks that people take all week to do. Because you up at 5, you handling your business. And I feel like, me personally, when you wake up that early, the sun is not up, it's dark outside, nobody is out, it's extremely quiet. I feel like that gives you an opportunity to get some clarity in the midst of all the chaos that's going on in the world. Every day in society, especially if you live in any city, in a major city, it's so busy. Everybody running around. You ain't got time for nothing. You got to do this task, then it's this, then it's that. Then you might have to pick up your kid. Then you got to get home to get some food. Then you got to do that. It's always work. It's always something. So you never get that time to really just sit down by yourself and think back on the things you've done, what you want to do, get some understanding on things. So I feel like waking up early gives you that opportunity just because everybody is asleep. The world, well, I'm gonna say the world, the country is asleep at least. Everybody sleeps. So you can sit there, whether you want to start off with a meditation, whether you want to start off with a book, whether you want to start off stretching, whatever you want to do, that's gonna bring forth, I'm telling you, man, it's gonna bring forth some clarity for you. And you're going to be able to see things more clearly. And you're going to feel good about yourself when you get that day started, get things going. Like I said, by 10 a.m., you can have so much work done where the average person is just now waking up. Mm-hmm. You're already ahead of most people because you've been up early in the morning.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I feel like I know some people would say schedule your most difficult or your most work-heavy tasks for the day first thing in the morning.
Right.
So you could just knock them out. And then you could kind of spend the rest of the day knocking out those small things as you go about your day, the rest of your schedule. And personally, for me, doing that, knocking out those big things first thing in the morning, it just always made me feel like, all right, once they were done, I got the rest of the day to myself, free to plan it and do it how I see fit. And I always just felt like I was getting so much more done with those early mornings. So definitely that's an important one. Wake up early, do what you got to do, knock it out, and then enjoy the rest of your day.
And it's a secret that most uber successful people don't really speak about or tell people.
Yeah.
If you're around real successful people oftentimes and you get to see their routine and their schedule, you'll see. If you ask them what time are they waking up, it won't be after 8 o'clock. I guarantee that. If it's any extremely successful person that you look up to, ask them what time do they wake up in the morning, and I'll bet you it's not after 8. It's more than likely going to be before 7. It's more than likely probably going to be before 6 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Extremely successful people, I won't say all because there's always exceptions to the rule, but most, they are waking up at 4, 5, 6 a.m. And it's a reason for this. You know what I'm saying? They're just not waking up to lay around and sit up just to say, oh, I'm up before everybody. Y'all sleep, I'm up. They're waking up early just so they could immediately start getting things done. First, you want to get that clarity, that silence to get ready for the day. Then they immediately get to work. So by the time it's 8, 9 o'clock, like I mentioned earlier, when everybody's waking up, they've already accomplished so many tasks throughout the day already. Mm-hmm. So they're way ahead of you. Now imagine you do that for a week. Imagine if you do that for a month. Now imagine if you do that for 3 years. It's going to take forever for the average person to even ever catch up with you just because you have so many more hours ahead of them of putting in work. So that's why waking up early is so important because it's only 24 hours in a day. Mm-hmm. We don't have an infinite amount of time. It's only 24 in a day. So if you wake up early, you get to get those extra hours and be up before everybody.
It's all about how you manage your time. That's what it boils down to. Yep. Make every second, every minute, every hour of the day count. Be productive as you can. Still remember to take care of yourself. But at the end of the day, it boils to what's going to set you apart from the person next to you and who's doing the same thing is just how you manage your time, what you do with the time you have, and that's that.
And the seventh one I had is limit distractions. And I feel this is one that could have been number one too, especially in these times. I feel like this is a time period in human history where I think we have the most distractions in human history in this time period today. You talk about TikTok, you talk about Instagram, you talk about Twitter, you talk about Facebook, you talk about YouTube, you talk about Netflix. Just one of those apps alone provides a million distractions. If you're someone that's on all of them, how can you ever accomplish anything? Because we know all these apps is like a drug. The people that created these apps, they intentionally create them for you to get addicted. It's a reason why the people that create these apps don't use them. They know there's an addiction. So when you get on here, as many of us, many of us will deny it and be like, well, I'm not addicted to social media. I can get off whenever I want. Like, man, let's be real. I'm going to be real with y'all. I'm addicted. I'm not going to lie to you and act like I'm not and be like, oh, no, I'm not addicted. But like, what I believe is I don't want to say it's okay to be addicted. I just believe you have to be a functioning addict because it's all a part of all of our daily lives. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like, no, I'm never going to use it. You know what I'm saying? That would be kind of crazy for to believe that you're never going to use it. I feel like you can use these things, but don't let it take control of your life. Don't let it stop you from doing the things you need to do. So you really, truly, it sounds crazy, it sounds funny. You really have to be a functioning addict and limit those distractions. Like they say, they did research on this. They said the average person in America is on social media for 2.5 hours a day. And that doesn't sound crazy, like at grand scale. 2.5 hours a day doesn't sound crazy. I honestly thought it would be more than that. I thought it was going to say like 6 or 7 hours a day. But you think about it. If it's 2.5 hours a day, you times that by 7, that's 17 hours a week.
14.
17 hours a week times 4, that's 70 hours a month. What? What's funny?
No, you said 2 times 7. That's 14, not 17.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. I always
do this.
No, I said my bad. I said 2.5 hours a day.
2.5.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, see, look,
you counted
man.
the half.
Yeah,
all right. I thought
man, you tripping, man.
I was trying to look out for you.
2.5 hours a day and 17 hours a week. And that 17 hours a week, imagine what you can do if you took that 17. I ain't saying get it down to 0, but you took that 17 and you just got it down to 10. That's a 7 extra hours you got to work and get ahead. Now imagine if you got that from 17 to 10, you get down to 5. Because 17 hours a week, that's over 70 hours a month. So that means the average person, and the average person is really not a content creator.
Nope.
So the average person is on 2.5 hours a day.
Just consuming.
Content creators, I'm willing to bet, are on for at least 5 to 6 hours a day. So
but
whatever
that's a
numbers,
job at that
that's because it's a job. So whatever numbers I said for the average person, I'm pretty sure you could double and triple those for a content creator. So people are really on social media for like 100 hours a month, and that is outrageous. Like when you think about it, 100 every month. Now do that for a year and multiple years. So people are literally wasting thousands of hours of their lifetime just on these platforms, and most of the time we're not creating or posting. Most of the time we just scrolling and watching and laughing. And it's easy to do it because sometimes things are so funny. You just catch yourself scrolling. Next thing, an hour, 2 hours go by. But you have to be mindful because you are literally wasting a lot of your time that you could be doing something else productive with your life. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that, like I said, that's just one distraction. I'm talking about social media, but I'm mentioning that one because I feel like that's the main distraction for most of us. You know what I'm saying? So if we could limit that, and I'm not saying it's easy. Like I said, in my opinion, we all addicted. I get it. But you have to be that functioning addict and try to scale back. And they got apps out here that will restrict your time on these apps. So if you're one of those people that need an app, or you could just delete the app, or just do whatever you can do to limit that time so you can focus on other things. I think it's very important to do that in this year because, like I said, it's a lot of things that are going on. You want to make sure you stay focused.
You definitely do. So if you're listening right now, I hope you got out your pen and paper and you started making that list about all the things that keep you distracted throughout the day.
Facts.
I actually said
Be real. Be real with yourself.
Yeah,
too.
be real with yourself. But I say take 3 days and just kind of just write down throughout the day what you're doing. Because like you said, you may not realize it. So just like give yourself 2-3 days and just, jot down notes throughout the day. What did you do? What did you spend the most time doing, the least amount of time doing? And then once those few days are up, sit back and reflect. sit back and look at how much time you spent on these activities in your life, and then go from there to create a strategic plan for how you want to do better with limiting those distractions and actually taking back control of your time. And like you said, it's not just social media. It could be people, it could be so many other areas of life, and you don't even realize it. So, just take that moment, self-reflect, because that's what the new year is all about.
Exactly.
Self-reflection.
Self-reflection, so you can have a better year.
A better year,
And you don't want to create. You don't want to have those same habits that you took into last year and bring it to this year and get those same results. Because that's just, if you getting the same results year after year after year, you pretty much living for no reason. What is you living for? You doing the same thing over and over, no growth, just the same thing. So definitely want to limit those distractions. Like I said, I know social media is the main one for all of us, especially us under 50 years old. You know what I'm saying? We all on there every day, all day. So if you could limit that down, I know that's one of the things I'll definitely be doing this year. If I'm not creating content, posting content, or reading DMs and stuff like that, I'm not going to be on there consuming and scrolling, wasting hours of doing that, because that's a complete waste of time. I could be doing something else. So going into the next thing, this is what's this? 8? 8. Yeah. 8 is limit and decrease expenses. Now this is super important. Like they say the average household in America makes $80,000 a year before taxes. What you think how much the average American spend?
A year?
The household.
A year?
Yeah. They're making $80,000 before taxes. How much you think they spend?
Probably what, 90, 100?
No, it's 66.
66.
But that's still, if that's 80 before taxes, we all know after taxes it's gonna be less than 66.
Yeah. And I said 90, 100 because debt.
Yeah, debt and all that, but yeah,
credit,
right.
consumer debt and stuff like that.
Yeah, but so basically, what it comes down to is the American is as we all know, you could guess that we're spending more than we make, and that's a recipe for stagnation. Number one, and we talk about this show is about wealth and growing your income and all that. You're never gonna grow your money if you spending more than you make. So one of the main things going into this new year, like I said, where they are predicting economic collapse, as they say, you can't be reckless this year. You know what I'm saying? Those PPP loans, that's over with. Those EDDs, those stimulus checks, that's over with. So people can't be that assistance. So people can't be reckless. They're gonna have to reel it in and really be strategic about how they spending their money, what they doing with their money, and all those things. Because as easy as it come in, it's even easier to go out. So you got to be mindful of that and just try not to be reckless, even though it's easy to be reckless.
And I'm sorry, I was just trying to Google to make sure I kind of say this saying right. And correct me if I'm wrong, but they say it's a time to be proactive and a time to be reactive. And right now, it's a time for you to be proactive and making sure you doing what you need to do to prepare yourself and your family for whatever may come your way. And I'm not saying, just because we're in this particular economic situation, but this is always, you should always be kind of prepared for the worst case scenario to come about, because it's life. You never know what's going to happen. But specifically in these times, just make sure you're taking the time to just do these things we've talked about and more, and really just put yourself in a position where you don't have to end up in the worst case scenario if things go left, because we don't want that for nobody, and we definitely don't want us to have to experience those difficult times, because we all know how hard it could be to bounce back from things like that. So just take the time, do what you got to do, and don't try and be reactive and react to things as they're happening. Be proactive and do these steps and prepare yourself so you won't have to be in that situation.
And I'm pretty sure we all got expenses that we can cut that we probably don't even. We probably spend $25 on this that we don't even realize, $50 on this that we don't really realize, $100 on something that we definitely don't even need. So that's something that you got to pay attention to going into this whole year. You know what I'm saying? You want to pay attention to exactly where your money going. You don't want a dime to be missing. You want to know where everything at, so everything is on the up and up for real.
And I'll add to that really quick. I will say, you guys should definitely get an app that tracks your spending. Now, if you bank with a major bank, they usually have this already built into their app where they'll track your expenses, but there are also third-party apps that you can use. Just make sure they're reliable, trustworthy apps, and track your spending each month and see what categories, you're spending the most in, the least in, so you can make changes as needed. To have a budget, whether it's a spreadsheet or a note in your phone, whatever the case may be, you need to be budgeting 2-3 weeks in advance before that month comes about. So for the month of January, you should already budgeted for January. You know how much you're going to make. You know how much income is coming in. You should already have your budget ready to go. 3, I will say this, print out your statements at the end of each month, because that can also be another means for tracking your spending, but also just making sure nothing goes overlooked. Sometimes you get overcharged for things. Sometimes you get charged for things twice. It's some things you may not have even did, and you've gotten charged, but because you're not checking your account and checking your spending, you miss these things. So I would say print out your statements just to have that extra level of awareness so that you can see where all the money is going. And last but not least, don't want to be one of those people who's afraid to look at their account. Even if it's low, it may be on the verge of being negative, whatever the case may be, you need to be looking at your account. You need to be checking, if not daily, weekly, and just seeing where you're at. So okay, I'm at this amount right now. I already got a budget out for this. Things pop up. This is how much I got to spend, play with. Cool. Now I know how to handle, this situation or the days to come. So just, have that self-awareness, those hard talks with yourself, your significant other, and just keep track of those expenses as best as you know how.
And 9, I had take risks, and this is a very simple, easy, and quick one. It's just simple. Take risks, man. Just you're not gonna get nowhere staying stagnant and not taking chances. You got to take a chance on yourself, and that don't mean just with investments. That can mean with a strategy, a business strategy that you want to shoot out the ground or anything like that. You just need to take a risk and take a chance on yourself. Like I said, there's no growth without risk, and you don't want to take stupid risks. You want to be intelligent while you're taking the risk. You want to be calculated with the risk, but you still just want to take the chance. So many of us, we don't take no chances on anything and then wonder why we're still in the same place. So with this year, I want everybody to do something that's outside of their comfort zone, something they're extremely uncomfortable with, something they never thought they would do. Just do it. Aim, have crazy targets. Really aim for something extremely high that you didn't even think you could accomplish. I just want you to take that risk and still try to accomplish it, because you never know what could happen.
Mm-hmm. And on the terms of risk, I know the biggest thing that holds us back from taking risk is the people around us. So just make sure you do that audit of your circle. Some things are not meant to be shared with everybody. Some plans, some goals are meant to stay between you and maybe a certain select few people who understand and who can give you advice rather than discourage you. So just keep that in mind. Taking risk, a lot of people don't want to see you win. A lot of people don't want to see you doing better than them. So just make sure, you keep that in mind. Make sure the advice and the feedback you may be getting from the outside world is actually concrete advice and feedback as far as what you're trying to do, and not just people trying to hold you back and, prevent you from taking that next step.
And the final one is, at the end of the day, just be grateful, man. We all made it to a new year, number one, so just be grateful for that. I don't want people to think, because I know we mentioned economic collapse or recession most of the time in this episode. I don't want people to think this is some sad shit, or we going we just speaking in reality on things that can happen this year, and we want everybody to win. But at the end of the day, be grateful. Each day it's a new opportunity. Just because you had a bad Monday don't mean you'll have a bad Tuesday. Just because you had a great Tuesday don't mean you're going to have a great Wednesday. Each day brings new things, new opportunities, new challenges. So each day that we wake up, I think that we should be grateful for the opportunity we get, you know what I'm saying? Because that attitude of gratitude is really how you propel forward in life, in my opinion. Like I said, man, we all done made it to 2023. You know what I'm saying? We all want this to be a great one. So that's just to start that off. I'm grateful for that alone, and I hope all of you all are grateful as well to be here, you know what I'm saying? Listening to this episode with us, you know what I'm saying? Chopping it up with us and stuff like that. So that's just number 10.
And like I said earlier, bad times are temporary, good times are temporary. It's up and down all the time, but the most important thing is that you stay grateful throughout the good and the bad. That's what matters the most.
Exactly.
You get one life to live, just be happy and grateful for every second you're here on this earth. Life is too short to be upset over little and meaningless things, especially when we know we all got the tools and the knowledge and the ability to change our futures and our trajectory at any given moment if we just set our mind to it. So keep that in mind, but gratitude is everything.
Gratitude is everything. So that's 10 ways. Number one, like I said, number one was set goals. Number two was exercise. Number three was build your relationship with God or whatever you believe in. Number four was educate yourself. 5, better eating habits. 6, wake up early. 7, take risks. 8, limit distractions. 9, limit or decrease your expenses. And 10 is be grateful, man. That's all things. I think if you apply those things consistently, consistency is really the key. If you apply those things regularly, I believe it's impossible for you not to have a great year. You know what I'm saying? If you really, really apply yourself and do all those things regularly, you're going to have a great year. You could pretty much guarantee it. And this gonna be a big year for Millionaire Mindsets. We're gonna be dropping a lot of episodes, a lot of fire content this year. We about to go super crazy. We about to go up. We're gonna have some conferences this year. We dropping a lot of things this year. Make sure y'all definitely stay tuned. D may be she may be out for a lot of it, but it's all good.
I'll
all right?
be here in spirit.
You'll be here in spirit, man. For the listeners, this is something that y'all may not know because this is something obviously that me and D we talked about in private. When we started the show, and D agreed to be the co-host or whatever, she told me from the jump, she was like, "I'll give you 3 years." She said, "I'll be your co-host for 3 years." And I was like, "All right, it's and I'm saying this because I know she's still not 100% sure whether she gonna come back full time to be a co-host or take a step back. She gonna take that time to figure it out. But I'm saying at the end of the day, starting from where we started from, and we made history. We became a top 3 business podcast in the country as a couple, and we the first couple to ever do that. So, whether she comes back as a co-host at some point permanently or leaves for good, at the end of the day, we made history, and can't nobody take that away. We did some great things to show. We got millions and millions of downloads. We built a crazy community, a crazy audience. So we did great things. So I just want to say thank you for being on this journey with me, D. I really, really appreciate it. You've been an amazing co-host. Like I said, this is not no goodbye. This is just, we don't know what, what I'm saying? We don't know. So I'm just
see you later.
Yeah, right. It's just to see you later. We don't, and people are always asking for you. So I just felt the need to say that on camera. I tell you this privately all the time, but on camera, just for our listeners and watchers, I want them to hear me tell this to you because this show wouldn't be nowhere near where it is without you. You've been amazing. You've been amazing with everything you've been doing on the show, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. And like I said, this show wouldn't be nowhere near where it is without you. So I just want to say I appreciate you. And we made history at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to say that real quick.
We definitely did. And I want to say thank you for that. That was beautiful. And it's nobody I would rather go on this journey with. And, something for me that started off as somewhat a hobby truly turned into a passion of mine. I never, ever thought I would be a podcaster, let alone enjoy podcasting. But I did. I took a chance. I took a risk, and I came on this journey. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about, different things in the world I didn't know about. And it's been I met a lot of wonderful people doing this, and it's truly been a blessing in disguise, being a part of the Millionaire Mindset show. And I know it's going to grow and continuously grow and become one of the biggest shows to ever do it. And I'm just happy to say, I was able to be on here and be a part of that and give my knowledge and wisdom to you all. And not only that, but grow as a person, find my voice, build my confidence. This show has really helped me a lot with that. So thank you to everybody who's listening, who supported, who's, encouraged me, giving me feedback, told me, how much they enjoyed me being on the show. I truly appreciate it. all of you.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful, and I wish y'all all the best.
And you know, the audience appreciate you. You know, you a fan favorite. They always asking about you. They always asking, you know, saying how they love the things, your input, your questions, and all that. So yeah, they definitely appreciate you. And like I said, man, I don't want to be redundant, but we done some great things. And if you know Deanna, anybody that know Deanna, when I asked her to do this show, like if you know her, you know her personality. She's a behind the camera person. She's not even in the camera. There's really not her personality to be in the camera in the limelight doing these things. She's naturally like a low key, out of the way kind of person. So for her to even come for these past 3 years to come and be out of her comfort zone, being in front of the camera, being in the limelight talking, that's a big step for her because that's just naturally not her personality at all. So once again, I just want to say thank you again for being here and being my co-host. Like I said, this is not no goodbye. This is not no farewell. This is just giving you your flowers in a moment.
And I appreciate that. And you guys, next year, hopefully we all see me again. We have our newest little member joining us for an episode or a cameo or something of that sort. But we're happy. We're expanding our family, and God is good. Life is good.
Life is
I couldn't
good.
ask for more.
Everything is amazing. And I just want to say thank y'all again for tuning in this episode. That's all I got for you. This episode on the Millionaire Mindsets. It's 2023. Let's get it. See you guys next episode.
Peace.
Gotta get your brain right if you're trying to make $1 million. If you ain't gonna do it for yourself, then do it for your mama. Only stay surrounded by them people if you know they solid. Elevate your hustle up today to double up your profit. Trying to learn some game, Xavier gonna talk about it. No Deanna, speak that shit that everybody vouching. Ain't no more excuses valid. Get up off the couch and get up in your bag. To your bank account, need an accountant.